Oh, we're live. Oh, I'm so happy. So I couldn't find my Team Jeep mug today. So I'm going to give a special shout out to the lady with the blue hair, my dear friends, Lisa Wilbur and Jeff West. They just came out with this book. And if you haven't gotten it already, definitely take it. And before I start, I want to say welcome to Jot Time with Realtor Jeet. It is such an honor for everyone to be here and continue to support this channel. And if you like what you're seeing, like, comment, and subscribe, especially if you're on YouTube. We are streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Now I'm super, super, super excited because the person I'm about to introduce you to truly, truly impacted my life when I was at a down in my mindset. So who you work with truly, truly does matter. And I want to introduce you to my dear friend, Erik Gimble. He is the CEO of the Gimble Group with eXp Realty. Like I said, he's helped me when I was feeling at a low point in my career, and I can tell you that the amount of quickness that he brought into my life of mindset, I hope he does the same thing with you. Hi, Nikki. And Erik he's an awesome real estate broker with an amazing team. He is a top producing real estate consultant with and the commissioner of growth with the Gimble Group, powered by eXp Realty. His MBA helped him excel the success that he has obtained in his real estate business, and he continues to help others grow the same way that he has. And it's such an honor to bring up my dear friend, Erik Gimble. Welcome to Jot Time.
What is up, Harjeet? I am so excited to be here. This is awesome. That was an amazing introduction. I didn't know if you were talking about me. I wasn't sure if you had one guy, but I'm here. I'm stoked. I'm in my car. I'm drinking McDonald's coffee. Happy to be here. This is awesome. And by the way, I would have rather been in my office. I was on appointments and hence in the car, but nonetheless, stoked to be here. Let's go.
It's amazing because we were just talking and I was like, well, that's what a top producing agent looks like. And you know what? It's There's no need to apologize for that because that's what you do and that's what you teach. And I'm just so grateful that you are here to help impart that wisdom to the audience of Team Jeet and Jot Time with Realtor Jeet.
No doubt.
And I have to give Brian Culling a shout out because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be in your universe. So thank you, Brian.
Yeah, thank you, Cooler. You're the man. Grew up with Brian, went to high school with him. He's 6'8". I think he'd have a lot of problems with me in the post and underneath the hoop. I digress, but thank you, Brian. Appreciate you. Heal up, buddy.
He is. He's amazing. So Erik, introduce yourself to who you are, where you're from, what state you service, and where your team is global.
Yep. So my name's Erik Gimble. I am, like Harjeet said, I'm the CEO of the Gimble Group. I am from north of Chicago, from the North Shore along the lake in Chicago, a small town called Highland Park, Illinois. Not that small, 35,000 people. My team works all over the Chicagoland area. We do the northwest suburbs, we do the North Shore, we do Chicago. We invest as far as 4 to 5 hours away, up north in Wisconsin, down further south in Illinois, but generally a Midwestern focus. Most of my team, we do have some brokers in Arizona, California, Wisconsin, and Florida as well. But I'm all about real estate. I'm all things real estate. I'm a residential real estate broker. I also invest in fix and flips. I also do some wholesaling, and I own a couple of Airbnbs. And one of my biggest passions of being in real estate truly is obviously servicing my clients in buying or selling their largest financial asset. And also like just coaching up my team and being a mentor and a leader to them and just showing them how to create their own team, their own squad, their own production and their own growth and their own money. And it's really just a passion of mine to kind of take the shirt off my back, give it to other people, give them the adjustment and attitude they need to get out there and sell some real estate and attract people. And that's what I love doing. That's me.
That's absolutely true. And you did that. You do actually do that, what you're saying. So what you see here with Erik is really what you get. Nikki Mertens. She said good afternoon. She is part of the Gimble Group as well. She was on last week, and she's such an amazing person. So really, it's the person you are. This is very really. I hope a lot of people know this. Show me who you. If you want me to show, if you want to show me who you are, show me who your friends are. And these are my friends, guys.
Totally.
And I want to say thanks to Glenn Mayernick. He's actually he said okay ons because we had technical difficulties getting on here earlier. So I'm glad you can hear us and we're on live in all of these broadcasts. It's good to know. Um, so like Erik said earlier, he's a great. Well, I'm saying he's a great leader, and what he does is he helps bring that mindset to all things real estate and what it's like to be a real serviced professional in your industry. And and that's what it's about. It's not about us. It's about our clients. It's about our customers.
Right.
And it was a few months ago when I was on one of the calls, and Erik's like, "Okay, what are your goals for 2023?" And I put a really low bar for myself because I like and like I said, I was in this place,
Yeah.
and Erik's like, "No, you you could do this. Make it higher,
Yeah.
and watch it happen, and 10x your goals after that." So
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Of course. Of course. Yeah. Don't pigeonhole yourself with your goals. Make them as high as possible. Reach for the stars. I mean, there's no reason not to. I saw so much potential in you from day one. You talk about this like magnetic personality, full of charisma, just a good person. You love your craft. It shows through your social media, shows through
Mhm.
your smile, everything you do. I mean, people you attract your attitude attracts people, and that's the biggest thing in real estate. Have a good attitude, have a strong desire to serve, and be prepared to work. And when people see that, it's infectious and they're going to want to work with you, and they'll see that you love your craft. Be all things real estate to all people. But it really starts with mindset and attitude. And I think when we spoke, you were kind of, I don't want to say you were pigeonholing yourself because you weren't, because your goals were fine. But just from meeting you after 45 minutes, our first power hour set, I knew that the sky is the limit for you. And I know that you could be and already are one of the top producers. So that's something I wanted to be clear with you, that goals are too low, girl. Get them up, way up, hit them, and hit them again, raise them again. All about goal setting. It's all about scheduling your days. It's all about having, daily goals, monthly goals, quarterly goals, yearly goals, and looking at them every day, because that's a roadmap to what you're trying to do. If you don't have goals and you don't set goals, you're a rudderless ship that just blows along with the wind. When you have goals, you have a purpose and you're more direct in what you do. And you could obviously see with you, you're very goal oriented, no question.
Thank you, Erik. And that's I'm so glad that you mentioned that because that's what we're here for today, to help other people understand that is that it's work. I saw a reel today earlier where it was humorous, and it was a broker interviewing a new agent and saying, "Why do you want to become a real estate agent?" And they said, "Oh, I saw $1 million listing," and I said, "If they can do it, I can do it, and I want to make $3 million in 3 years." So, and they're like, "That's the broker." And that's really what we see a lot is people come in and they think that it's just this fabulous life being a real estate agent and don't realize the work that you have to put behind that.
100%. I mean, could not agree more. I'm a guy by trade. I wear a hat all the time, and I dress down a little bit. And people kind of are like, okay, Gimble's had a ton of success in real estate. He's very goofy. Like, I could do it. I could run X amount of dollars. I could manage a team. I could have all these investments. What they don't see is what goes on behind closed doors, all the
Mhm.
preparation, how I prep, how I prepare, the conversations I have with clients that frankly have nothing to do with real estate sometimes. As a realtor, you're their psychologist. You're their realtor. You're their sometimes their financial advisor to some degree. I mean, there's a lot of hats you wear in real estate. And if people think that it's all about like writing contracts and opening up doors, they shouldn't get into the field. The field is a lot of work, but it should be. It should be. You are selling people's largest financial asset. That's a big deal. That's a privilege. And frankly, if you're successful in real estate, you have the greatest job in the world. You have your own schedule. It's not to say that you might not work 40, 50, 60, 70 hours, but they're your hours. I mean, frankly, on a Tuesday, if I want to go, not that I do, if I want to get a facial, I don't. I couldn't think of anything different. I'm looking at a facial place. I get a facial. Maybe I will. I get a massage. I can play paddle on a Wednesday. I mean, that's the stuff you could do. But the reality is, as a broker, your days can be a little freer, but you got to be prepared to work nights and weekends. And if you're not prepared to work nights and weekends as a residential real estate broker, do not get into the field. Don't. Yeah. If you're, 5-day work schedule and Monday to Friday as a real estate broker, you're not going to be very effective. The key with real estate is you got to be prepared to work when people aren't working. You also got to spend money on yourself and invest in yourself and kind of show up every day. You eat what you kill. You're your own boss. It is the greatest career out there, unquestionably. But if you don't sell anything, it sucks because you don't make any money. So it is a field that there's a little misnomer about real estate. There's a lot of part-time brokers, which is fine. And there's a lot of people that maybe don't, there's different levels of types of brokers, but it is a lot of work. And I would say if anyone's trying to start out, you can be successful right away. In my first year, I ran $8 million, but I didn't sleep. I was marketing all the time. I was talking all the time. I was walking to restaurants, telling everybody I was in real estate. I invested in myself some subscription services for buyers. I did Relo. I did third-party referral sites. I fell asleep marketing all the time. My laptop was working my ass off just to pay my bills, frankly, at that time. And this is about 12 years ago. And I never stopped working. I never stopped. I never had family in the industry. I didn't have a leg up. I didn't have an in. I just kind of worked my butt off. Took my experience of I own a large laundry dry cleaner. I have a CPA and an MBA, which is certainly helpful. But I think my most helpful thing in real estate are two things: my work ethic, and I definitely talk a lot. And I think that's helpful because you're selling. I hate to say it, but you are selling. And I think when people hear me talk or whatever, or just know that I'm loud, they'd say, I want that cat selling my house. I think he might do a good job selling my house. And they see that. And the way to present that is either in person. And if you can't do it, you got to do it on your Instagram, on your Facebook, and show them who you are. Put your beautiful face on video. Your Instagram, your IG, your social networking platform, your campaign is off the charts, Harjeet. It's as good as I've seen. I'm envious of it. I couldn't do it, but what you're doing is incredible. You have the stories going all the time, the reels, you meeting other people with an EXP. You show such a strong passion for what you do, and you can see that through your social media. And there's no doubt if I lived out by you, you'd be my go-to call to sell my home. No question. Zero.
I so appreciate that. And that's really what it is. You've mentioned so many things that I don't even know where to start. The first thing I want to start with is, yes, you are selling. And that's the best profession anyone can get into. And it's like what Grant Cardone says. Yeah, you're selling. Everyone is selling. Since the moment you are born, you are selling. When you're crying for milk, you are selling. You're getting what you need from your mom or whoever's taking care of you. And then there's another aspect of selling. Selling at the root word means giving. So, and I learned this from my mentor, Bob Berg, and we mentioned him last week as well with Nikki Mertens from his and Bob Berg and John David Mann's book, The Go-Giver. And the root word of sell means to give. So when we are selling, we are giving our services. We are giving something to the person who finds value to it and exchanges it for money. So that's what we do.
It's a service-based industry. It really is. You have commodities that you're selling with the houses, but generally you're selling your service because there's options people have. With other brokers, some think they can sell it by themselves. They can't. Yeah. You need a real estate broker. Stats show that 85% of them end up relisting anyway, and if they don't sell it, they get 19% less. But at the end of the day, it's all about service.
It's all about service. Absolutely.
And it's directly in line with your compensation. How hard you service, how much you get paid. It's a perfect science.
I love that. Yep.
Let's go.
That's the law. That's an actual law. The more you serve, that is how you're going to get compensated. It may not happen right away.
Right.
So don't sit there and think, oh, okay, I am. If you are an agent out there doing all the work and you're thinking, okay, I'm doing all of this, but I'm not being compensated for it. It will come. It's not going to come directly. It will indirectly come towards you. I love this saying, the universe conspires to what you want.
That's absolutely
So
true. Yeah.
it will
And
give you what you want.
personal development's a big thing. Like,
Mhm.
definitely suggest that all brokers, everybody, work on yourself too. You know, read the books you want to exercise, hydrate, yoga,
Mhm.
med, all that stuff is really, really important to getting you in the frame of mind to serve others and to give yourself over. Because we
Yep.
can make money as real estate brokers. I mean, honestly. And, you know, we should have to work for it. And we do.
And we do. We absolutely do. And that's another point that I wanted to bring up. Um, EXP has just released, well, Real Trends has just released its highlight headline that EXP is number one in production. So for there's so many people out there that always mention, oh, you're just a recruiting company, you're this, you're that. We are a producing company.
Oh, yeah.
And it shows with all of the producers that are out there and selling and doing the work. And what we're doing is we're not recruiting, we're showing an opportunity for you. If it fits for you, that's great. If it doesn't, there's something else out there for you. And but just so you know that that is, it shows like we were the top 3 in the last 2 years, and then it just went up to number 1. We just got the number 1 spot
Yeah.
this week
Huge.
as top producing company, as a top producing company. And why is that? That's because of the collaboration. Like I had no clue who Erik is before Brian sends this message, like hop on this power hour call. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to hop on a
Yeah.
call.
Like this dude.
And
No.
I'm like, okay, but I seen it. And then I see the message again, and I'm like, and my daughter's like, just get on the call, mom. You know you want to get on it. And I was like, okay. She was home that day. And I got to meet Erik and his group is amazing. They're such high producing agents, and they love what they do. They love to learn their craft. Nikki's on here; she's one of them. I know Goody; he's really awesome too. I remember him, and I haven't been on one of the calls in a while. I apologize for that.
Oh, it's all good.
Nonetheless, everyone is just so amazing. And that goes throughout the company, throughout the United States, is the collaboration that we have. And when we work together, it brings a whole lot more value to the client.
There's the talent at EXP is off the charts. Like I would,
Mhm.
most of the brokers that are the most entrepreneurial and forward thinking have aligned themselves with EXP because
Yeah.
you have talent across the globe, and everybody's sharing their ideas on a regular basis, whether it's EXP world or a Zoom or in person or meetings or EXP whatever it is. You have the top talent in real estate, and they are at EXP, plain and simple, because they looked at the model. And number one, it's compensation. We have the best compensation plan of any brokerage, bar none, not even close. The main
Yeah.
reason is because we don't really have traditional brokerages and have all this brick and mortar. Brick and mortar these days for a real estate brokerage is a thing of the past. We still do have relationships with offices. We have the Regises. A lot of brokers work from home. You can meet anywhere, and typically the top brokers are kind of out with their clients or making calls themselves. So the idea that you need this big office and pay this enormous overhead, which brokers are closing constantly, Compass is already showing they're getting absolutely crushed in their earnings because of all the real estate brick and mortar that they're carrying. We've decided to have a different model. And the model is we're going to be more agent centric. We're going to pay them more. We're going to give them good resources online. We're going to improve the technology. We're going to give them stock. We're going to give them a platform to share this idea with other brokers so they can grow their team. The amount of money that I ran the same exact amount my last year at Century 21 affiliated. I ran the same exact amount in production that I did my first year at EXP, and I made $130,000 more dollars at EXP. The
And
reason
then
was compensation. I ended up making, 94% of my production. At Century 21, I was affiliated as one of the top brokers, making 75%. So that's a big deal, right? we work to make money, and we're keeping more of our money, and we have better resources, and I think we have the top talent in the world in our brokerage. So does not surprise to hear that at all. And I think our company, I think the sky's the limit for us. It's an amazing brokerage to work for.
It absolutely is. And that so for everyone listening, this is exactly what Erik said. He saw the model, and that model showed he is throwing a lot of money on the table off the table. That's his, and it's just basically going in the garbage because or to someone else's pocket that you earned wholeheartedly. And what's that doing? That gap that you 90, did you say 94%?
4% was my commission. Yeah. There was a
Came back?
gap in what I made at my old brokerage and what I made at EXP.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And that's what I saw when I did the math in when I switched. It was my first year. I did 12 transactions, and I
Wow.
saw that.
That's a big deal. Wait, why are you glossing over the 12 transactions? That's amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, just so everybody out there knows, that's not the expectation. The expectation is for 2 to 3, right?
I wasn't even expecting to have one deal in 8 months because that's when I was reading up on what it's like to be a real estate agent, they said make sure you understand that you may not see anything for the first 8 months.
First year, potentially. Yeah. So can I turn the interview on you, and maybe we can share what did you? Because I did something similar. I ran about 21 in my first 16 months, but you do. I mean, why you? Why did you run 12? Why did you have 12?
I did what you did. I went out and I was telling everybody I was a real estate agent. Everything was always real estate. And then the key to it, because I still do it, was a follow-up. It was a follow-up. I asked one of and he's still to this day, I continue to talk with this client that I have. And he was my very first client, and he knew that I was new.
Wow.
He just knew. He goes, "Are you a new agent?" And
he's like helping you with the door.
Even well, it's crazy because, well, yeah, let's go backwards a little bit. We're flipping it. It's a cool story. This is my very first client, and he's looking at houses all in Mount Sinai, and that's about 25 minutes away from me. And my baby, she's about 6 months, I think. There was 6 months then, like 5 or 6 months. So I'm still like adjusting to new motherhood because my other two are way older. I'm still adjusting to my time. And here I am like 7:00 in the morning scheduling these appointments to Mount Sinai that he had sent. These are the houses that I like. So I was like, okay, let me do this. And I did it. Was on the call, making all of these appointments. 10:30, I like this house in Santa Mauritius, which is totally different area on the other side of the island.
Wow.
I want to see this house. Okay, what do you want to do with these? Cancel all that. I want to see this area. And at this point, all of his houses that I had scheduled were houses that he wanted to see.
Sure.
So he canceled all of them.
Yep.
And he said, whatever you may have in Santa Mauritius that's available today, let's take a look at all of them.
Yep.
So I did that. Somehow I managed to get into about 5 of them by starting at 12 o'clock. So, and I remember this. So from 12 to like 1 or 1:30, I'm showing all of these houses. And the house that he originally was like, I want to see, he bought it.
Wow.
And 3 years later, I sold it.
Wow. So that was the house that originally he did not want to see, and he scheduled it.
Yeah.
That was the first house you went to.
That was the first. Yep. That's the second. Like he canceled all of Mount Sinai, and then he's like, I want to see this house, and he knew what he wanted.
Wow.
So he's like, let's put an offer. It was all cash offer, and this was 2 weeks. This was 2 weeks after me getting my license.
Wow. How'd you get that client?
Well, that client, my broker was like, okay, go show these properties.
Okay.
And
So
I was like, okay. So I went and I scheduled it, and it was like, okay, this guy, I don't know how serious he is, but he did send me the proof of funds and everything. So
yeah,
I'll meet him at
yeah,
the office, and
yeah.
then I'll take him out to see the houses. And then he goes, "Are you a new?" And I'm like, "What? Why do you think I'm new?" I'm gonna tell you the truth. Yes, I'm new. This is my second week. He goes,
Wow.
"It is?"
Wow. Oh my God.
Because you look so young. So he thought I was like 18 or 19 years old.
You do look young. You do look young. How old are
And
you? Fine. How old are you? Are you
I'm 38. I just turned 38.
you're that?
Yeah,
No,
I'm that old.
I'm like almost. I'll be 48 this year. But you
It's okay. Oh my God.
you look
Thank you.
so. You know what's interesting about that? Like I made that. So I started real estate. I was maybe a little older, maybe a little older. I started. I'm 47. I started when I was about 33, and I did a little real estate before then. But I already owned a business and stuff, so I felt very sophisticated. So it felt very unusual for me in business to be a rookie in anything. And
Mm.
I hid that. I faked it till I made it. I studied
Mhm.
up. I studied the marketing. I knew enough about business. I dealt with lawyers. I dealt with unions. I dealt with sales. I dealt with everything. So I've seen everything. But I never been through an inspection. I never been through writing an offer on a house. And I just faked it till I made it. It would have scared me to death. I would have been so pissed if somebody said, hey, because I was so anti that for whatever reason. And my wife knew that because the first year I won like a Rookie of the Year award, and I'm like, I don't want to say it's a young realtor. I don't want to be a rookie. I feel I'm too talented to be a rookie. So it's something that I had to get out of my own head, I guess. But nobody
Mhm.
ever questioned me being new. And
Yeah.
first people that I sold, if I told them that was their first sale, their mouths would be wide, their jaws would drop. They wouldn't believe it. But maybe they did think I was new because I felt new. I felt new. I
You
felt new.
felt me.
But yeah, I always tried to hide it. You know what I'm saying? Like fake it till you make it. That's what I was doing. It was just, you know, yeah.
And that was a similar feeling I had, Eric. When he said that, I was like, why would he say
I
that? Like, I'm doing everything properly or whatever. Maybe that's why.
right. No, oh, this broker actually does everything. Like she must be from I've never even heard of because they don't do it this way.
Exactly. So, but I was like, yeah, I am. What are you gonna
Yeah.
do? I am. And
And,
what's the worst that can happen? You'll walk away.
and he bought right. Suck it, peace. And he bought from you, so that's awesome. That's incredible. And like
He
it's interesting because I would advise any real estate broker that's starting out. There's a few things you have to do. You can't just say like I'm going to work in like I live in Highland Park, right? Highland Park's like it's
did.
35,000 people in the town, in the city. And, a lot of people are like, I just want to sell houses in like Highland Park and Deerfield and Northbrook. No, when you start out, you need to branch out. You need to say, oh, 5 mile radius of houses, start at a 20-mile radius. Start at 20 radius. Go further than you need to go to get the business. Maybe get a buyer subscription service, whatever one that is. I know they're geo farming and some of them aren't great. Some of them are good, but try that out. Do Relo. Look at third party referral sites. Definitely keep in touch with your sphere of influence. Like these are all things that are musts that you have to do. But I still think the number one thing is talking. Like honestly, talking. The rest
It is.
day, and everybody knows I'm in real estate. Everybody. I'm loud as crap, and I'm
Mhm.
proud of what I do. And I just have my antennas up for real estate. So what happens a lot when people start out, they're so pumped and they're so excited, and they'd be surprised how much volume they can get from their sphere of influence
Oh yeah.
because they're
And
genuine, it's contagious, and they almost want to. Your sphere of influence almost wants to help you when you're new. Those are the people that love you. There's three layers to your sphere of influence. There's the A's, B's, and C's. Your A's are family and close friends that are going to high probability of using you. Those people would love to help you. Love. So
yeah.
if you're going to get in real estate, I'm not saying you can't be an introverted real estate broker and be successful. I'm not saying you can't be, but it really helps when you talk and when you kind of let everybody know what you're doing, let your sphere of influence know. You're so geeked up about real estate, your antennas are up. And a lot of times brokers like you and I who work hard and have good intentions have beginner's luck at the beginning because we're
Yeah.
so hyper focused, you know and the antennas are so up about like talking up what we do and our passion and excitement, and people just want to work with us. And I think what you and I have done a very good job of, and Nikki and other people, is we've kept that intensity up. We've kept that attitude of wanting to serve, of loving what we do. And I haven't changed much from what I did from day one. I really haven't. So
That's amazing.
yeah, I just want to throw that.
Exactly. I hope everyone's writing that down. Like, Erik, look, he's got me dancing too. Erik is just giving you a blueprint of the start of your career. If you take that, what he just set down of the A, B, C list,
Yeah.
and you put your people in categories, you'll know who's out there to support you, which relationships that, and it's a nice thing. It's a nice thing to realize that, oh, I haven't really worked on this relationship. And
Yeah.
if it's an excuse to work on that relationship,
Yeah.
it's a good excuse, because all relationship, if you're in my phone, you were in my phone for a reason. I liked you for something.
How come
Genuine.
I feel like I'm not in your phone.
You're not. So we got to fix that.
You're in my phone for a reason. So you're kind of saying to me, you're not in my phone for a reason. I mean, a little hurtful.
we got to fix that. I had to. So we were having technical difficulties. You're messaging Erik on LinkedIn, and then I'm like, okay, I don't know if he's gotten it. And one of the best things of EXP is that we're all connected. So I just call him from work chat.
Oh, you did? Okay, I didn't know. Okay, she's there now. I don't know what we're doing, but okay. Yeah.
Yep, I called you from work chat. Like, I typed Erik's name, and you just
Incredible.
tap that call, or the video call. I just tap call, and I'm like, hey, Erik, I'm just restarting, so give me 5 minutes. But yes, we have to fix that. I got to save you in my phone. Also, I'm sending one out to Nikki as well. Not this cup, but I have a Team Jeep mug, EXP Realty one. I want to send that out to you. So please, let's exchange phone numbers and address.
Yeah, let's go. I'm into it. What else you got for me?
So that was just going back to, what it was after you gave all of that great information. The key that helped me personally is follow up. It's really like, how do you follow up? I ask my clients, what is it? And that's one of the things I do after a transaction. That transaction doesn't end at the transaction. I ask the client, I'm not asking for a referral first. I'm asking, what is it that made you choose me?
Wow.
Then they explain to me, oh, this is what it was that made me choose you. And then I'm like, oh, great. Could you explain that or write that in a referral?
Oh, wow. I mean,
And
you're teaching me. That is lights out. That is so smart. So you ask them after the transaction, why did you choose me? Yeah. And then them incorporate that into their referral about you.
About me.
For why they chose you. And then that would hopefully align with someone else choosing you based on those things.
It absolutely.
I mean, the nugget you're dropping right now is unbelievable. That's great. I don't do that. And I think one of my biggest weaknesses is following up after a transaction, because I get so busy and I feel like I give everything I can to every transaction, everything I can. And like a wet towel being wringed out, like, and I just feel after it's done, it's done. And I think it's a really important thing to do. I certainly give them a gift. I keep them on my phone. I always ask them how they're doing, but I think brokers need to get better at, and me included, at having a follow-up program when people close. Those could be your best referral partners. They've already closed a successful transaction with you. Their feelings are great about you. Why not utilize that and utilize it right away after that transaction while they're still pretty excited about what you did for them? So
exactly.
I think that's
it's amazing. This was, and then I'm going back 5 years.
Back, girl. Way back.
We're door knocking. It's the first time I'm ever door knocking in my life. And the first door, maybe it was beginner's luck. I don't know. But the very first door I knock on. And so we go on this block, we're canvassing. We go back to the office and we're writing down. I didn't handwrite the note, I typed it and then printed it out and then sent to anybody who spoke to me. I said, thank you for taking the time to speak out. So I'm a little bit of a background. I do come from a business management degree. And I do come from a business uh, place. Like I work for my dad's psychiatric office as well. So I handle that business as well. So what I did is I went back, I typed in everything at like there's three different types of people. The people that I've spoken to, the people that just said, no, we're busy, and then the people that we missed. So I wrote a letter out to each of these people. The first door knock that we did, she did spend time talking to us, the couple, and they called us back. They said, you were the only person who wrote this really sweet letter to us.
Wow. Yeah. Like, can I take a 20 time out and just interject?
Yep.
That is enormous. Handwritten. Thank
Oh,
you.
that wasn't handwritten. That was
Okay, it was typed. Okay, fine. Typed, handwritten, whatever. Personal thank you notes are such a lost art.
yeah.
Important. And they're such a lost art that people don't see them, that the impact they have are so much greater because nobody does it. And it is such a touch and it's so specific to that person. And they actually feel that you're different. They saw that you were door knocking and they said, all right, they just door knock, they give me their information, whatever. But then they follow. I like them in person because how could you not like you? And then you follow up with a personal note. That is something that people miss. You in this business, you need 5 to 9 touches before people consider using you. So maybe they've seen you 3 times online. Maybe they've seen your name in the grocery store. Maybe they've seen your name on a listing and a sign, right? Maybe they have 4 touches there. Maybe your 4th touch was you knocking on the door. And then that thank you note is another touch. You just got a 2 for 1. So you got a 2 for 1. You got 2 touches, 1 person.
Oh, yeah. Because I was brand new. I didn't have anything out there like how I do now.
Exactly. So I think that's huge. And I really think that the key is in the follow-up, like you said. Like a lot of times you go that extra step, which by the way, 95% of brokers don't do. 95% of brokers will have a conversation, a cold call conversation with an expired lead, and they ever call them back. And it might be a good conversation. And what you did, you started flipping their antennas up. You started getting them excited about the prospect of maybe there's different agents out there. The last agent that I used was no good, didn't work for me. And you're calling off an expired, and they know they had a bad time with agents. They have a bad taste in their mouth about brokers. You call, they felt good about the conversation. You don't call them back. All you're doing is setting the table for the next broker.
Well, absolutely. So it's setting the standards.
You already raised the antenna, but that's yours. The key is in the follow-up. I would give myself a B- in follow-up. Is as successful as I've been, it's definitely something I could get better at. And I think that's good that I know that. But I would say from what I'm hearing from you, your follow-up's off the charts. And that is just going to take your business to the next level. Unquestionably. Love hearing that. Love it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But like I said, it's you ask, and this is what they said. So most of the people I talk to that I've done, they say, what is it? It's follow-up. It's just that how you handle that follow-up. So that's the key for
it's your follow-up.
Yeah, follow-up. You just said that. You did just say that.
That's right. I didn't even hear that.
No, I heard you. So that's why I meant this is like it's cool to know, and you taught me this as well as so many others before me. It's you need to track, and this is one thing I wasn't doing. You need to track what is working, and you need to track what's not working, and go back to that and see what was working and start doing that again. Yes. And that's what you brought back to light in me when we got on that Power Hour call.
I mean, you're such an incredible person that I remember exactly what we were talking about that day, and that was the CMAs.
Yep.
That was the free, right? Like, go back. If you want to get in front of these people and you want to give them something of value, if you want to talk about an item of value that gives them something to utilize, and you give them a report, an accurate report of what their largest financial is worth. They didn't even ask for it, or maybe they asked for it. You put it online, whatever it is, a phone call. That's what we're talking about. The CMAs. And I kind of came in the meeting, and you know, I mean, you being down is like everybody else being up. You were kind of like, like this, And then I did the CMAs. Your face lit up, your eyes lit up, and you're like, hey, here, thank you so much, Brian Colleen. I mean, he looks like he does kind of, say a few things that make a lot of sense. And it kind of raised your level of like how into the meeting you were, and that there still is stuff out there to this day. I'm learning from you. You're learning from me. It doesn't matter how experienced I am and how much I've sold and how much I've done in my career. I think one of my strengths is I'm always still learning. I'm always still learning. I'm always still making mistakes. I make more mistakes than anybody I know because I'm probably doing more than the average person. I'm not afraid to take risks. I'm not afraid to change up my game plan. I'm not afraid to scrap something if it doesn't work. But to your point, if you're going to do all this work and you're going to put through all this energy of marketing and spending your dollars and spending your time and spending time away from family, you got to track it. You got to track what's working, because if you don't, I mean, it's just silly.
Into a ditch. That's just what happens.
I mean, if it's part of your routine, it takes 30 seconds to track something, right? You just look and see where it's from. You put it on a spreadsheet or KPIs, whatever you want to call it, and then track the stuff, and you're much better. You're much better for it, no question.
Oh, absolutely. And you've helped so much with that, because you're right. I was just like, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I remember I did that.
Like, God, this guy's so long-winded. What is he talking about? Oh, I mean, okay, let's go.
That's so funny. That's like I mentioned it to you. Like,
yep.
I did that, and I landed a listing, and I ended up selling $80,000 more for that.
Wow. I don't think I knew that.
To give this, giving a CMA, just giving something small as looking at if somebody is looking into refinancing, or the other thing, I forgot what it's called. It's like if you're looking for a loan or refinancing, then you want to know how much your house may be appraised for.
Absolutely. And another thing, I think what you might have been saying is if you want to buy an investment property off the equity that you have.
Off the equity that you have. There's so many different things. Yep. There's so many different ways. Sorry, you blanked out.
So yeah, if you want to buy an investment property from your equity, is
yep.
I mean, it's like I don't pay for anything in cash. I invest in a lot of real estate. I like the leverage because it's not debt, it's good debt. Your credit card debt is depreciating debt. It's garbage debt. You're paying off something that you're getting no future advantage from. You already paid it down. You're just paying interest. If you don't pay the whole thing off, your money's going to the garbage. With real estate, the asset goes up in value, and you could typically buy 4 times the value. So if I get a $200,000, if I put down $200,000 on a property, I can get an $800,000 asset that I control. And that typically that asset went up 5, 7, 10% a year, maybe even more sometimes. So that to me is not debt. That's just being smart with your leverage. And what you can do when you own a property, you've been at home for 5, 10, 20 years, chances are you got a lot of equity. Maybe it's 200,000, maybe it's 500,000. You can use a very large percentage of that equity to buy an investment property that's cash flowing. And I think that's a real value, that you could take your largest financial asset and buy more assets with it. And I think it's good to give people that type of information. I kind of digressed a little bit, but I just want to throw that in there.
No, that's amazing. And this is what people need to know, that they don't know that. I had, a buyer who was looking at houses, and like, I don't think I could afford the house right now because I want to save until I can buy a bigger house. Well, if you buy a smaller house, it'll appreciate. You sell that, and you can buy your bigger house.
All day.
I'm sorry, you broke a little bit.
I just said all day. That's all I said.
All day.
Nothing. Just a typical Gimble going little like jab to get. Yeah, no, it was nothing.
Oh no, you're right. All day. It's something, but that's information that the majority of people don't know, because what they think of real estate is what they see on TV.
Totally. And like, you cannot take for granted any field that you're in that like people don't know. They don't know as much as you think they do. A lot of them might think they don't. And I mean, I've sold thousands of homes, right? Chances are I'm going to be able to teach somebody that sold 3 homes in their life a little bit about the real estate transaction. One thing that's very important in real estate is that as much real estate as you sell, got to recognize that most people only buy and sell 3 to 4 homes in their entire life. And typically there's a long separation of time between those buys and sells. So it's important not to get callous. It's important to explain the process to them. Hey, I went under contract. We have an executed contract, but realistically, stats would show that we have a 65% chance of closing because over 30% of the transactions fall out during the inspection.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of education that of like what, probability. My clients love my probabilities. I do look them up. I do research, but I give them probabilities. I tell them, look, we went under contract. I mean, what, do you think they're going to close? I go, we got to see. I go, once the inspection is done, which I'm going to walk you through that inspection. I'm going to advise you on what we should tell the attorney to do when they go back to the other attorney. But I'm going to tell you right now that once the inspection's done, then we're more at a 90% chance. Then we're more at a 95% chance. It's a way to alleviate them from things they haven't seen in a long time. And it's important to educate them through the whole process and also really understand and be emphatic about this is stressful. This is stressful to them. I know a lot of my clients are like, you're so calm. You just say stuff is going to happen, ends up happening, and it's great, but like, you're so calm. I go, it's only because I've seen it. And that's why people need a real estate broker. You need a real estate broker to manage the transactions. You also need them to manage the emotions, because if the emotions aren't managed, it could get ugly. It could be very stressful. It could be sleepless nights. It could be wrong conversations with the attorney that could send the wrong message to the other side. So I think as a broker, at least the way I run it, is I'm very, very involved. I'm not just like list the house, get it under contract, show up the inspection, then get a check 45 days later. I'm in between the lines all the time. It does make me a little vulnerable with time sometimes because my clients are so dependent on me. They'll be the kind of texting me for everything. But at the end of the day, I think that's what separates me from a lot of the real estate brokers is just being, like I said, all in.
All in, all day, all in. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing, and that truly is. And you do that for not just your clients that sell that are purchasing and buying houses. You do that for your team, and it clearly shows what an amazing leader you are for the Gimble Group. And my pleasure. And it's so awesome to know that there are people like you out there doing the thing and making things happen all the time, all day.
All day. Addictive. So once you start saying all day, it won't stop. I'm just telling you.
So this is the things that we've spoken about is mainly today was for newer agents. And if you are an agent that's been in the field for a very long time and needed this a reminder, I think this is perfect. And this is exactly what you did for me when I first met you, which is why I knew you would be of great value to the audience and to this show. And if there was one message you could give to everyone, what would that message be?
Wow. Right to the jugular. I mean, it's probably gonna be a little longer than most messages, but I mean, it all starts with attitude. You got to have a good attitude. Attitude. You want to serve. You want to be with people. You want to be lead them through the transaction of buying and selling a house. All about attitude. All about it. Number 2 would be set your schedule the night before. Set your goals. Set your weekly goals, monthly goals, quarterly goals, and yearly goals. Set them and lead them in all facets of your life. Business, family, health, body, and spirit. Contributions. You should have like pillars of life that you focus on. Set goals in those pillars every single day. Within those goals, you create a monthly schedule, and then a weekly schedule, and then a daily schedule. But I think two big important things are have gratitude. At the end of the day, tell yourself what you did well. Pick out the one best thing that you did every single day. And what's going to happen is you're going to have a carousel of all good things, and you're going to have to pick one. If you have 7 or 8 good things, boom, end that day with gratitude. And also end that day with your schedule for the next day. Your schedule for the next day is really important. Set at least 3 big goals for the next day. Maybe 6 maybe 6 big things to get done, but know what those things are the night before. You will wake up with such a much bigger purpose. You can feel it. That would be my number 1. My number 1 would be attitude. My number 2 would be set your day the night before.
I love that. That is absolutely amazing. Have gratitude, set your goals, set your day all day.
Yes, all day.
And What better way? There's no better way to end that because Erik just said it. He just gave you a blueprint to your success. And thank you for that, Erik. I really appreciate that. And we all do. So hope everyone has a great day today. Go make it happen. Thank you for joining Jaw Time with Realtor G. And do not forget to purchase the lady with the blue hair and get some caffeine from McDonald's too. Thank you guys for joining. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, you just hit that subscribe button. And any of the other platforms, you can just tap on follow. So thank you so much. Give me one moment, Erik.
Thank you so much. Such a pleasure to be on here. Loved every minute of it. I would gladly come back. So appreciative. Good luck to everybody. Go crush it. Enjoy your day. Have gratitude all day.
All day.